This would be the tournament to do it, obviously.
And he's bringing chameleons into the mix for this one.
Oh god.
This is a very interesting opening for this day.
What is this unit?
It's.
I guess if you can make it work with pigeons, I think there's definitely some potential there.
It's invisible. It's a unit that goes so invisible that we never see him in battle at all.
Clever. A little bit of red plug, but looks like
okay. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be game number 1. Racksoon versus ChipFromSpace in the top 8 of July Jam. And right now we have Racksoon to the north and ChipFromSpace on the high ground to the slightly southeastern area of the map. So they are very close to each other.
And this definitely favors Chip.
Neither of them running lizards though.
No, this is true. This the tier 1 is identical for both players in this case. But if Chip can basically get any form of standing army, I think Racksoon is going to have a pretty hard time on this map, just because of the distance. There's a road, his pigs are exposed. If he places his warrens in front, it's even worse, so a little bit unfortunate, but it's a best of 5, so we'll see how that ends up playing out in the long run. ChipFromSpace is going to go for 5-farm warren. Racksoon, okay, he does have these machine gun nests, which Chip doesn't have the best answer for until he gets chameleons. Also, stream title is probably still old. It still says highlight stream.
Alright, we'll have to get that changed very soon, but right now...
Oh, here we go. Chip is already picking at this warren, and with no units coming out just yet, this might go down.
But the turret is going to be up, so he's not going to... Oh, his reinforcement...
No, Racksoon sold the warren, so now he's going to lose a farm for it. Okay, it's a little bit unfortunate. So yeah, Chip recognizing the really close distances here, and going very aggressive right away. Chip's going to go back and fill out his farms and probably get a second warren here. There we go, some more squirrels for him. Racksoon will have an army, which is good for him.
I'm actually a little surprised Racksoon was allowed that one squirrel to live. I think if he was able to focus fire that squirrel, he could at least taken something out of this victory here. But with that, Racksoon will be a few steps behind ChipFromSpace. Still hasn't got any units out on the field, building his second warren though. So very soon, if Chip stays a little bit passive right now, waiting for his own units, Racksoon will have a defending army behind the back of that machine gun nest.
Chip is going to go for his first chameleons now, and those will deal with that machine gun nest fairly efficiently. But the machine gun nest is in a fairly good position, honestly. With the way Racksoon has set his base up, he has some way of taking fights here, I do think.
Okay, there we go. I was fixing my controller, so sorry if I was a little bit quiet, but
that's all right.
Now got my controller all fixed now, so I can actually use it to move around the screen. There we go, the joys of spectating in this game with the controller.
Racksoon is going to commit to some more machine gun nests, which is probably what he wants to do here, or I think it's a good idea at least. He can eventually go into a fox if he wants. He also has a base in the background, but that's probably too dangerous to take.
I think he's understanding his position, that he knows that ChipFromSpace is going to be on the aggressive because of that early victory. So he's just going to shore up his defenses and sort of prevent Chip from doing anything too much. And he was able to scout out the tier 2, so he knows that Chip is starting to build up his army a little bit more.
But it looks like Chip is going to go for a chameleon pigeon push, so try and keep those chameleons alive with double pigeon war, which does mean that the fighting units value is going to be pretty similar once these toads and ferrets start coming out from Racksoon. And these MG nests aren't going to go down for free, like they will still be able to shoot.
Chip did sell one of his machine gun nests, so I wonder if he's planning on saving the money for something. He's
Racksoon spots the move.
Food. Yes, be low careful. Here comes ChipFromSpace trying to approach from the north side. He has his chameleons there with him as well.
Oh, both chameleons just completely destroyed. No, one of them, excuse me.
Goodbye, chameleon. That toad just destroys him completely, and ChipFromSpace has to
because the toads will be running forward. Wait, that is actually both chameleons dead.
Alright, he does get the whack, but his second chameleon also goes down as well. And now it's pig and squirrels versus.
Oh, did Racksoon sold his ferret warren? That's probably a bad idea.
Let's be low careful. The toads are starting to come in. They both get their explosions off in time, so Chip starting to bleed a few more units. And as we take a look at the quick graph, they're actually neck and neck in terms of army value. Racksoon slightly pulling up ahead. And once again, Chip trying to go in for the offensive here. He is going to be able to get a few procs. But once again, these toads are doing a lot of damage. He's not killing the toad fast enough.
Chameleons are just getting obliterated against this toad damage because the toads are running forward. They have nothing to explode on, and suddenly there's a chameleon in their face, and yeah, okay, they'll explode on that. And that's, however, what is it, 18 damage now?
Racksoon lost 2 of his forward farms, so he actually loses a good chunk of his offensive might here. Now he has to be very careful. He actually has to extend just a little bit outwards to even attack into Chip, and Chip has the pigeons at his disposal, allowing him to heal up units as he just pokes his way in and out to the battlefield. But it looks like he will back off for the time being, selling off his chameleons for more food.
I don't know why Racksoon was forced, like he felt he was forced to sell his Ferret Warren, because if he'd had that, he'd have permanent pressure on this.
Yeah,
but he did decide to just get more squirrels.
Yeah, ChipFromSpace is facing a bit of a dilemma here. Racksoon actually has the higher tier 1 count for the time being.
Chip sold his chameleons, realizing they were highly ineffective, especially with the machine gun that's now out of the picture, and so both players are getting a second mill, but there's like no way to take a breath in this game with just how close these two commanders are. Army count is almost exactly the same.
Yeah, both sides, they're sort of seeing the time limit. We're already at that 5-minute mark, amazingly enough, so both sides are thinking about getting their own farm up, making sure they get their economy. Racksoon is going to be behind a few farms due to those initial attacks, but that sort of does help him out if this ever becomes a starvation race in the end.
It's more of a stalemate right now because the armies are so close that no player can really attack, so it's going to be... Chip will probably get a small lead because of his... he didn't lose any farms. But until both players farm up again, we're probably not going to see too much action.
Both sides just content with taking things a little bit easily here, trying to get some more money so they can actually get tier 2s back on the battlefield. We saw earlier Racksoon was thinking about going for the ferrets, but as soon as he saw Chip attack earlier, he sold them off immediately and put the money into more squirrels, which helped to defend very nicely for a long time.
Now, if Racksoon could get those ferrets up again, he does have warrens to poke at. But at this point, it's very hard to get that much food, unless he builds up these farms again.
And Chip is slowly starting to crawl up a little bit in terms of armor count. He already is 1 Warner Pigeons in terms of value ahead of Racksoon.
He's always, he's had that since, you know, since the stalemate started happening. But that's not really changed.
Now with his entire army having been fully summoned here. He won't take out Chip as a... What, did he take out Chip or did he just dig away? I didn't actually see that.
I believe he burrowed.
He probably burrowed away.
Yeah, so we just have to wait until one player feels confident enough to go on the offensive.
And, you know, if we take a look at what their tier 2...
Oh, looks like Racksoon's going for it.
Okay, before we talk about that, Racksoon is thinking about an attack here right now.
No toad explosions.
With the toads, and
okay.
he is going to get a warren.
Surprisingly good. He lost only his toads and the squirrel to take out a squirrel warren from Chip, which is really good at
Chip going straight to Badger, skipping the tier 2s completely.
That's going to be a problem. Depends on what Racksoon does now, because now he did lose those toads, so he loses some food to rebuild them.
Chip also has a lot of pigeons. He has 2 warrens worth of pigeons, and
which is going to work out great with his badger.
That's going to be very scary, but Racksoon, he's going to go on the attack once again. His toads don't quite get their explosions off, but Chip, again, starting to lose some more units left and right.
He only lost a squirrel and a pigeon, but he does lose a warren. So Racksoon is like trying to pick off these warrens, but he's not trading units, so it's not necessarily an advantage.
We do have the Badger Warren currently fully built, currently just waiting on the next 30 seconds for that Badger to be... Oh, now for 40 seconds. I didn't notice.
If Racksoon could have picked off 1 or 2 units, then Chip would have had a pretty hard time getting the Badger. Here goes Racksoon again.
Once again, the toads now starting to do their damage. Another Warner Squirrels is going to be down for the count now. Racksoon pouring his way into the army. ChipFromSpace needs to buy more time. He still has several seconds left before his Badger's going to be able to get up. Racksoon going to go dodge out for it again, but the damage is going to be done to Chip.
Yeah, Chip only has Badger and Squirrels right now, and 6 pigeons, so Racksoon is actually doing a pretty good job here.
Just be very careful. He's on the verge of being swarmed right now. Racksoon just slowly closing on in. His squirrel count slowly lowering. He only has 3
needs to
squirrels left.
Focus down this warren. He's not going to do it.
The Badger is now alive. Will he do enough damage to fend off the Badger? Badger has lost almost all of its pigeon support. 1 pigeon is left alive, and the Badger is actually going to do enough damage. The squirrels are not enough for Racksoon's side.
Racksoon's just going to throw the towel. Oh no!
He calls it.
If Racksoon maybe had run forward, he could have potentially picked off the warren in time, but he either didn't realize that was the play, or he went for the other warrens. Oh man.
He was very close to taking that victory, though.
That was really close. Racksoon doing what he had to do and sort of picking off those forward warrens was a really strong play.
And with that, ChipFromSpace will get the first point on the board, barely, I have to say.
Yeah, straight going to game 2, but it was really close. For a map that was...
It's one of those weird timings with the Badger, in that like Racksoon was starting to overrun ChipFromSpace, but that Badger just does so much damage, and a lot of Racksoon's units were on low health, so those squirrels were just easy pickings for that Badger.
Yeah, just once that Badger was out, and Racksoon was trying to focus fire it, but the mill was kind of in the way as well, so it's kind of tricky to hit it where the fight was breaking out. But if Racksoon had focus fired the Warren, I think he could have done it. Maybe just didn't quite realize what was happening at that point.
Racksoon is really all in on the tier 1 build here for game number 2 right now. Does have ferrets in his back pocket just in case he wants to do some sieging, but no tier 3s from him at all. He's going to focus a lot on his early aggression, and this is actually a very interesting map for that.
Yeah, Chip switching out his Falcons from the previous game, which he didn't end up using for ferrets. And Racksoon, as you say, going for tier 1, adding some lizards, which might not be that much into play because of the toads that both players seem to favor. And Racksoon's going to be in the south this time, whereas Chip is in.
Yep, Chip is going to go for the 5-farm lizard rush. It looks like you might want Chip to put down some squirrels on his own, but
yeah, so Racksoon is going for the 5-farm lizard.
That might be a little bit scary for ChipFromSpace. Lizards, like attacking from the high ground, actually do a lot of damage to the squirrels.
And with this Warren out in front and the farm behind it isn't quite finished yet, Racksoon does have some time, I think. It's gonna be tricky to do any real damage with this. Unless he runs around a bunch.
Alright, he has his lizards up at the ready. He's gonna see if he can poke his way in at ChipFromSpace.
Poking at the Warren, but yeah.
Backing off. It's gonna go in and out of battle as needed. Almost
yeah,
loses
he
that
poked at the Warren.
Will survive.
Keep this lizard alive, that's good.
Go back and heal up. Was thinking about building that second Warren, but decides to go straight into farms. I think
yeah, that's the right play.
Bit of a psych against ChipFromSpace. He saw ChipFromSpace in that area, so sells the Warren immediately and goes for food. Then meanwhile, ChipFromSpace scouting out his opponent, but Racksoon starting to attack from the north side of here. He's see if he can take out one farm. He is going to be able to trade out one farm for 2 lizards, 3 lizards.
All of lizards. That's not great.
1-for-1 trade so far, but Racksoon has no army count right now. In the meanwhile, Chip's going to use this to his advantage right now, advancing his way up the hillside.
This is going to be really tricky for Racksoon to hold. And this might just be the game, because Racksoon's not going to have any units, and now Chip is on the high ground, and now Racksoon doesn't have anything. Okay, he's going to lose.
His pigs won't attack. Alright.
Okay, that's 2 farms down.
He has the machine gun nest building as well.
He also loses the machine gun nests, so that's a lot of money down the drain for Racksoon, while Chip's reinforcements are coming in. Yeah, it's another machine gun nest that's going to go down. The lizards will be coming out soon, but until that time, Chip is probably going to kill another farm here. The squirrels are starting to die now. Okay, so now Racksoon is going to start pushing this back, but boy, that hurt a lot.
Really scary for Racksoon now. He is so far behind on farms, having lost about 3 of them.
Yeah, that's why you can't trade your only army for a farm. If Racksoon has gotten out with 2 lizards there, then he could have put up a stronger fight against Chip's counterattack. But the way it stands now, it definitely looks like Chip is going to be the one to secure victory very soon.
Alright, looks like he's thinking about another lizard rush, but in the meantime, ChipFromSpace is going to go for another offensive attack.
Yeah, Chip already has toads too.
With him this time.
Chip is saving his toads. Okay, he's going to go for a flank.
To the north side. Is this going to be a base race already?
Maybe.
No, not quite. Chip is actually going to retreat here, but Racksoon's actually going straight for the throats. He's going to see how much he can wear down that base, but his 3 lizards are destroyed. His last lizard is gone, and his reinforcement's going to be taken out as a bonus. So Racksoon, no army on the field once again. He has 2 just recently spawned. See if he can hold some sort of defense here. And he's actually going to go for the base again.
Yeah, but there's no way with that many pigs. And his reinforcements are being constantly cleaned up by Chip.
Yeah, Chip is
going to send his toads into the mill for that burst damage, and that's going to be it. That's 2-0 for ChipFromSpace.
So much single target damage coming out from those toads.
Yeah, Racksoon, he had the cute play with the lizard runaround, but unfortunately not quite enough to... didn't get all of his units out alive.
Yeah, it's just all about just controlling your units just a little bit better there. I think there was a moment where he ran ahead of his lizards, but that gave the pigs enough vision to see him, and they already started their firing animation. And that was not the best of lizard attacks from Racksoon. But he had the right idea. He had the right idea.
It was a good idea. The execution was a little bit a little bit slow. You could see Racksoon, he'd move his
Also nothing
units
new,
into
right?
position and
Yeah,
then scattered out with his commander, and then his units came in a little bit later, and it was all a little bit slow. So maybe some hesitation there, and if the hesitation isn't there, and you just think, okay, I'm picking off this corner farm and getting out whatever happens, then maybe we'd have another chance. But looks like we are just about ready to get into the next game. It could be the final one in this series if Chip takes it again.
It looks like Chip is going to be switching out his build once again here, this time opting for some snakes instead. Meanwhile, Racksoon going to be adding a tier 2 to his arsenal, taking out the lizards, seeing them as a bit of an issue last game, and going to be bringing in skunks for some crowd control. And this could be very interesting if Racksoon ever gets to that position here in this map. Game number 3 right now, Racksoon to the north and ChipFromSpace to the south.
Yeah, it's a nice map for Racksoon this time. He does have a little bit of... Chip does have an angle of attack on the south of Racksoon's base, which he will probably scout out at some point. But until then, Racksoon is in a fairly good position to defend this.
I wouldn't, even if I were in a position of Chip, I wouldn't attack into this one. There's too many choke points that Racksoon can actually attack into.
Yep.
And Racksoon actually sees this. He's going to go straight into building his 7 farms. Probably going to be in 8th very soon.
Yep, Chip's still holding off on queuing number 7. Just going to scout out things. No lizards on either side, so yeah, Chip's gonna go 7 farms. Oh, he's gonna sell it. He sold his 7th farm. But Racksoon is not gonna scout it.
He sees
Okay,
Racksoon
it's snake
hanging around
first.
his base.
6 farm
Yeah.
snake first from Chip.
He sees Racksoon hanging around, and he also wants to get a little bit ahead with the tier 2 race. And early snakes is actually very interesting because there's no aggression coming out from Racksoon. He can actually get the snakes for free and probably pick up a few farms off of that.
It's gonna be Snake Pigeon, which is an interesting timing. I don't think we've seen this before. Like 6 farm tier 2 into a tier 1 warren, which does allow the snake to start production and then the pigeon follow up. So Racksoon is gonna go 8 farm and a bunch of squirrels, it looks like, which I think is the right play with the units he has. Although toads could be strong, if there's only one snake, then the toads can just run up and explode on them. We'll have to see how this plays out, because Chip is definitely going to be looking to go on the attack soon.
I will say, I don't think the pigeon-snake combination is too weird. We usually see pigeons with tier 2s, but it kind of makes sense with the snake here. He wants it. It's a really good early damaging unit just due to its poison stack being really hard to deal with. And right now, he's just going to attack his way into the pig right now. 1 pig already going to be going down to poison.
2 stacks is enough to kill the pig. Now the snake is kind of in danger.
He's going to make it out. Squirrels are a little slow.
Yeah, the same movement speed, so it's going to be alright. Okay, that's a good win for Chip. He delayed his own economy a little bit to make this push, but then taking out 1 farm.
He does have to be a little careful with approaching now. Racksoon has a large number waiting for him on top of this hill and ChipFromSpace. If he's a little too careless with his attacks here, we'll lose those snakes fast.
It's going to take like another 30 seconds or so before the economy disadvantage that Chip had is going to even out, because Racksoon is not rebuilding this farm. Racksoon is going to go mass squirrel to try and overrun this, but Chip is building up his own squirrel force to sort of match that firepower. And it looks like Racksoon is actually going to try and go around.
Well, he was thinking about, see, there's an uphill. Oh, he's going to make his way through. ChipFromSpace, he's actually making his way north, but he sees a squirrel running his way through.
Squirrel. Okay, that 1 squirrel is dead, but now Racksoon is here.
All right, can he do enough damage? The
he's not going to take
damage
the fight.
will kill off 2 squirrels. A 3rd squirrel also going to be hit by the poison. He's not actually doing enough damage to the snakes right now. The snakes are actually doing 2 many poison ticks to Racksoon's army right now, and Racksoon actually loses his own life. His squirrels are left on the battlefield to die, and he loses his entire army.
Racksoon did take out a warren, but now he's going to lose one of his own most likely. Okay, Chip is not even there. He's just letting his army fight, now pulling back after taking out that warren, and Racksoon's going to lose a few more squirrels.
He wants to take out the snake.
Snake is not getting healed.
No,
just in time.
Heal stack. That 3 pigeon heal stack was just enough to keep it from the brink of death.
Jesus, that was just in time.
Pigeons working as intended. And this is pretty much it.
Yeah, Racksoon losing more warrens was Chip only lost that 1. And now Chip's 8 farm is definitely giving him an advantage. And yeah, now he's on the mill, so a few poison stacks on this mill.
Yeah,
that's going to be the end of the game.
That's pretty much the game. It looks like he's just waiting for the inevitable roll. That's it.
Alright.
And with that, ChipFromSpace takes a clean 3-0 over Racksoon, and we'll be moving on to the next round.
Okay, next round is going to be Classic Metal versus Chris Phoenix. We'll play the
All right, let's see if we can get those players into the battle right now. And for those who just tuned in, this is the Clash of Comrades July